We are so live right now. So live. It's Jenny Brothers and Ann Brothers and entertainment expert Chip Moehle is with us on this Bar Thursday. So, and I can tell you, Chip and Ann, I've been getting a lot of positive feedback about people who are excited that we're talking about Pee-wee's Big Adventure. This is one of those movies that people don't talk about, but then when you talk about it, they're like, oh, I freaking love that movie.
So true.
Yes.
So true.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Yeah. So, and I'm fine with that because movie has been, I've been in love with this movie since I was 15 because it came out. Yeah. I got to know this movie because I was babysitting our neighbor, Steve and Sandy, their son, Adam. And he was maybe 3, I think, at this point, and loved this movie. So I was babysitting him, and he wanted to watch this, so we watched it. I'm like, I can't believe I have to watch this movie because it was on VHS, or maybe it was 86. I don't remember. But I was like, I can't believe I have to watch this. And then I was like, the two of us just sat there in front of the TV. We were like, I didn't know.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Yeah. I was just transfixed. This movie literally changed my life. So, but before we talk more about Pee-wee's Big Adventure, I thought since it's Bar Thursday, many people thought we should do some sort of tequila drink for Bar Thursday. Absolutely. It only makes sense if you're going to talk about Pee-wee's Big Adventure to have a tequila drink.
Tequila.
And then I chose for my drink, I'm going to throw this out there. I'm going to go ahead and get this, out there. I chose the Tequila Sunrise as an homage to Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and here's why. Because in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, of course, they do the tequila dance that he does, but also because there's a very important sunrise scene in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. It's where, after being dropped off at the restaurant by Large Marge, Pee-wee gets his tuna melt platter and milkshake. He can't pay for it because, of course, he left his wallet at what's her name?
Oh, I can't think of it.
Madame Ruby.
Madame Ruby.
Leaves his wallet at Madame Ruby's, and so he ends up meeting Simone, one of the waitresses, who befriends him, and they end up going into the dinosaur together to look at the sunrise, and they talk about Simone's big butt, about why she won't go to Paris. So I thought, what a perfect drink, the Tequila Sunrise, for tequila and the beautiful sunrise scene in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. So here we go. So here it is, delicious Tequila Sunrise. And it's also a very beautiful drink, and it's a little bit loud. And this would be, to me, if Pee-wee drank, this would be a drink that he would drink because it's pretty sweet. So sweet.
It looks like a sunrise.
It does. Delicious. It's actually a really good drink. So let's talk a little bit about the history of the Tequila Sunrise. And it's really interesting because I found nothing but hate on the internet about the Tequila Sunrise. And it wasn't like bad hate. It was like, this drink is super trashy. This drink is super smarmy. This drink is super lowbrow. And I thought that was really funny that in the grander scheme of things, this is not a classy drink by any stretch of the imagination. So it's thought that the Tequila Sunrise was originally invented at a resort in Tijuana back in Prohibition area, Tijuana. And again, Southern Californians would go to tequila so they could drink. They would, go to the resorts. This was a very popular drink. And it really hit the big time in the late 60s and early 70s, apparently. It became a staple at the Trident Bar in San Francisco, or outside of San Francisco. The Rolling Stones fell in love with it. Of course, in 73, it became extremely popular with the Tequila Sunrise song that the Eagles put out. And then it became apparently a staple at key parties all through the 70s. So,
okay. When did drinking have to be classy?
That's a great question, Ann. It's like as if drinking is like that. We do this because we're so sophisticated. I'm like, no, we drink to get drunk.
Right. Well, and the thing is, if somebody can commando something and put a class system to it, they will do it. Like, like if I can sit in my mansion and get drunk, I'm still better than you sitting in your trailer getting drunk.
Right. That's very true. But I was like, when did getting so? I'm like, I'm like, oh yes. It's like, okay, don't tell Duncan. It's like when Duncan talks about the chemistry of beer, and I was like, and he's like, oh, it's this and this in the water and the H2 and the pH system, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, you make beer, right? So anyway, that's how I feel.
I don't know.
Like, when do we have to be a classy?
Looks pretty classy to me. So
me too.
Yeah.
Everybody knows I'm classy, and I would only drink something classy. So
that's right, Ambrose. You've been putting the ass in class since 1969, yo.
Yo.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna squeeze my orange into my Tequila Sunrise.
Oh,
so,
you're out of control.
I am. Look at that.
I know.
Squeezed it. So let's take a look, real quick look at the recipe for those of you at home that would like to make a Tequila Sunrise right now. You're going to need some tequila. White tequila is recommended, but if you happen to have any tequila in your house, use that. Some orange juice, some grenadine. Grenadine floats a little bit better. It's a little bit more dense, so it has a nice cascading effect to it. Maraschino cherry to garnish, orange slice to garnish. And then as far as your process, put some ice in a glass, put the tequila in the glass, put the orange juice in the glass, roll it back and forth to stir it, top it with the grenadine, garnish it, drink it. It's that easy. So if you're looking for some like complicated recipe for Tequila Sunrise, it does not exist. So there you go.
and I'll just point out there was
easy,
also
just like the ladies who drink it.
Yes.
That's what makes it such a classy drink.
Exactly.
Chip, what were you just saying?
I was just say I just should point out too there is a Tequila Sunrise movie, which I never saw, but I think Kurt Russell was in it, and
Mel Gibson, Michelle Pfeiffer. I have seen it, and it's not great.
Yeah, I've heard that. I think I saw the end of it on cable once, and was like, "Yeah, glad I did not spend any money on this."
Let's just say that the drink and the movie are kind of the same. Okay. Now, I'm not saying it's terrible.
It's really sweet to begin with, and then you forget all about it.
That's right.
Yeah, that's when Mel Gibson he was at the height of his hotness and hadn't gone all spewing hate crazy.
Yeah.
And Michelle Pfeiffer, who I still believe is completely hot, was even at her hottest at that point, in the early 80s. And Kurt Russell, so he's pretty much good in everything.
Yeah.
So or he's just good is probably the wrong word. He's Kurt Russell in everything. So
everything.
Yeah.
Monica is with us. She said that it's Teachers Gone Wild. Girl, you have no idea. I was just telling my sister about our opening procedures for the first couple days of school. You don't even know. There's not enough tequila in the world for that, or weed.
Oh my God. Hi, Monica.
Monica says hi. The song is great, though. It's funny, Monica, you should say that, because I made myself listen to the song before we came on today. The song is just like the drink, too. What?
It's so sweet to start out with, and then I drank too many and totally forgot about it.
Totally. So, but whatever, right? Mm-hmm.
Right.
All right. So that's everything you need to know, and things that you didn't need to know about Tequila Sunrise. Monica says A to the men. Got it. All right. So I'm going to swap out our screens real quick like a bunny. And we are going to go ahead and do a share screen of our movie this week. And the movie we're doing this week is, of course, the great and powerful Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Maybe it's in my top 10. I feel this is a top 10 movie. One of my friends on Facebook, her name is Julie TG, who's amazing. This is her favorite movie. And I'm like, I knew I liked you, Julie. I knew it. So.
She's the one I met when we all had dinner in December, right?
No, that's my friend Amy, who also loves the movie. So fear not. She's we would Amy and my friend Murray and all of us, we would watch Pee-wee's Playhouse together. And that was always a treat. So Tina says we're naughty. Like, yeah, girl, you know that.
I should point out that my bow tie and my t-shirt are from the lovely Tina Albright Connell.
Oh, nice.
As well as wonderful toys.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice.
And I love this one because it's got Billy Baloney. Oh. And my favorite joke is with Billy Baloney when Pee-wee says, "How do you like school, Billy?" And Billy says, "Closed."
Closed.
And of course I have Pee-wee.
Those are them some nice toys. You still have the package chip so that you can sell them later and finance your old age.
There you go. That we're too late for that. Yeah, I haven't decided yet if I want to open them or not. Plus, they have this cool background that you can cut out, and there's one on each one of them, and they attach together to make the playhouse. So you have to buy all the figures.
Oh my gosh, how cool is
that? I know, right? I know.
That is fabulous. Super fabulous.
Fabulous.
All right. So let's take a moment and let's discuss this top 10 or greater movie. Chip, where would you put this on your top movies? Is it in your top 10?
It's definitely in my top 10.
Me
yeah,
too.
and the thing is, my top 10 actually ends up being more like a top 30. Because, I'll list 10 and then I'll be like, whenever people do that Facebook thing where they're like, one movie a day, don't say anything about it, just post the picture. And I always do 10, and then I'm like 11 of 10, 12 of 10, 13 of 10, 14 of 10. But PeeWee's Big Adventure is definitely in the actual top 10.
For sure.
It hit me like the movie Airplane did when I was a kid.
Oh.
It was just like something new and amazing, and yeah.
I always felt like when I finally got to see Airplane, because Mom would not let us watch that movie because it was dirty. And so when I finally got to see that movie and I finally really got to just sit and listen to it, it was like heaven. It was like somebody had opened a door to my mind. Yes. And it was like, oh, this is so great. And it was like, I just felt so smart watching that movie, even though I know it's dumb humor, but I still felt smart.
And I'll be honest, I thought if I didn't know I was gay at that point, like just the sheer amount of quotable things that I took away from that movie, was like, okay, that began my whole sponge brain, remember the quotes of funny movies thing. So
yes, well done. Well done. And I would say Pee-wee's Big Adventure is one of the most quotable movies ever.
Without a doubt.
There's so many great quotes in this movie. So in case you're wondering about this film we're talking about, if you're not familiar with it, a 1985 film directed by Tim Burton. It was his first feature film that he ever did, his first full-length feature film. Yeah. He also did Beetlejuice. He also did Batman. He also did Edward Scissorhands. He also did Sleepy Hollow. There's a billion other movies I'm forgetting. He did
almost every year he puts out a movie. Dumbo. He just did Dumbo.
Oh God, that's right.
He did Wonderlands. Yeah.
I think it's fair to say that Tim Burton is a film directorial legend. I don't believe I'm exaggerating when I say that, because the films that he's made have been so memorable. So his first directorial debut, when you really watch it and you watch his other films, you can see it for sure. Written by PeeWee Herman, otherwise known as Paul Rubens, Phil Hartman, and Michael Varhol. And one of the reasons I love this movie is the film score by Danny Elfman, frontman to Oingo Boingo. And again, it was kind of this partnership that Danny Elfman and Tim Burton have formed through the years. Mm-hmm. Really, if there is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yes.
Thank you. Again, and I know this is sacrilege. I love that movie so much more than the original one.
I do too.
I do. I just think it's better. It's more true to the original story. It's dark. It's funny. I love Johnny Depp's interpretation of Willy Wonka.
Me too.
I just think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it so much better. But yeah, I thought, well, maybe it's just because I'm a mean person, but I love that movie so much more.
I'm with you on that, Anne, because what I loved was that they actually did the squirrel scene, which honestly, I would watch that squirrel scene over and over and over. I'm like, you take that little girl down. Like,
I knew I was going to love the movie when she's like, well, don't you want to know our names? And he's like, no.
I mean, it's like the second Jurassic Park movie with the little girl on the beach that gets eaten by all the tiny dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah.
Which apparently is actually the opening scene of the first book. But I was take that little. I'm not a mean person. I'm drawn.
It is what it is. It's okay. And look at this comment by Monica. Isn't this funny? It says you needed to have a front of a more lenient mom who would let you watch R-rated movies on sleepovers. I'm like, what sleepovers?
Yeah, exactly. We needed to have a lenient mom that would let us to have sleepovers.
Sleepovers. Yeah, that was not a thing in the Brothers household. Just saying. But I would agree. That would have been super helpful. Yes, Tina Sweet, that's another Tim Burton. Well done. Again, legendary director. All right. So what this movie is about, it's a movie. Honestly, it's a love story. It is a movie about a man's quest to be reunited with his lost love.
Yes.
His bike. It's a coming of age movie where a man finds out what he is capable of when pushed outside his comfort zone. And Pee-wee's got a pretty tight comfort zone, especially we see at the beginning of the movie.
Yes.
It's about addressing our big butts. And you have to watch the movie to find out what that means. It's about the importance of relationships. It's about keeping ourselves young. And it's about the Alamo.
The Alamo. The Alamo. In the
The Alamo. So there are some takeaways from this. Why you should watch this movie. For starters, it's just dumb fun. It's whimsical. It's fun. Jan Hooks is in it. And it's I think her most memorable movie role ever. The character Marge, James Brolin, and Morgan Fairchild. And what I love about this movie is that everybody that's in it is all in. James Brolin and Morgan Fairchild do not half-ass it. Love it.
Yep.
It's a great movie to watch if you're sad because it makes you unsad. Danny Elfman's soundtrack is amazing, and it provides an excellent reason to drink tequila. Chip, would you like to add anything to those things as far as why you should watch Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
It's a good movie to dance to tequila in high-heeled shoes.
Oh, exactly.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, without a doubt. You know, like we said earlier, it's a great quotable film. It's just such silly fun. You know, I remembered the friend that I went to see it with. I was at Eastern. It was my second year at Eastern. And we went to the Ann Arbor Mall and saw it there on the big screen. And afterwards, my friends comment, like, I laughed my ass off through the whole thing. And I think for me, the funniest scene is when he walks into the woods with the flashlight glasses on.
Oh, yes.
And then suddenly the light comes on and there's all those animals around him. I could not stop laughing. And after we left the theater, my friend just turned to me and he goes, a little bit of PeeWee Herman goes a long way. And I was like, you were the wrong person to see this movie with.
Oh, that's a great quote. I'm going to remember that because that really sums it up. We got a fan out there. Becky Ortega wants to know why our glasses are still full. She said you guys have been sipping for a while, but you need to drink up. I understand, Becky.
I'm trying to get through this without like falling off my chair and insulting more people.
It's okay. That's what Bar Thursday's all about. Regrets.
Regrets. So many regrets. I regret I'm still wearing a bra right now. So
you don't have to be.
Thank you.
And why you should watch Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Go.
Oh, well, I had a lot of time to think of this because I was not a big Pee-wee Herman fan the first time I saw it. I was like 16, and I was extremely sophisticated for a 16-year-old. I want you all to know that. And so I thought this movie was too silly. And at 16, I was not silly. But now that I'm older, I've learned that I am way sillier. And I liked this movie a lot more. I only saw it one time before this week because, like I said, I was just like, you know, and the thing is, my sister liked it, and I was like, of course Jenny would like this movie. So anyway, I was like, because I was not looking forward to seeing it again. I'm like, ugh, it's like the log slide. I did it once. Why do I have to do it again? But I enjoyed it so much more this time. I mean, I was laughing out loud, and I was like, oh, it really, you know, the thing about this movie is that it really is, it has no time. It's ageless because it could be anywhere. It could be in the 80s, the 90s. It could be 20 years from now. It doesn't matter because it's just so ageless. But what I learned that I love Pee-wee's interior design sensibility. Yeah. And there was like so much stuff. I was like, I would have that. I would have that. Oh, I have that, you know. And then accessorize. And I'm a big I'm a big proponent of your accessories having accessories. I mean, I never met a sticker or a keychain or some piece of jewelry that couldn't go on another piece of sticker or keychain or jewelry or purse. So accessories. Be amused. And I think that's the main thing I took away from this movie is that if little things amuse you, then you're going to have a fine life.
Yes.
Ride your bike more. Very important. There's that scene where he loses his bike and everybody is riding by on bikes. And I was like, oh, we need to ride our bikes more. Oh, this is an important one because I've been to too many meetings. Meetings should never be more than an hour long, and you should serve refreshments before the meeting starts and after the meeting is over.
Yes, and if you've never seen this movie, Pee-wee has a meeting because his bike gets stolen. And he has this 3-hour-long meeting with local neighborhood and friends, how to strategize to get his bike back, and it does not go well. So I would agree, Anne, keep your meetings short, especially if it's Zoom meeting, even shorter. So
even shorter. Another thing that I learned from a lesson that I learned is that I really miss Phil Hartman. During the mid 80s through the mid 90s, he was everywhere and he was so funny. And I think we really need his funny now. And I'm sad that it's not there because he just had this really whimsical sense of humor. And I miss him. I miss his humor. And I also miss Jan Hooks. She has such a tiny little part in this movie, and that's when I first time I saw this movie, like I said, I didn't like it very much, but I always remembered her because she really was so funny, and she just had this impeccable sense of timing, and just like you said, nobody half-assed it in this movie. And even though she only had like a scene or two, oh, she steals it. She really does, and I miss her so much. Another thing I learned is be who you are, be who and what you are for yourself. Pee-wee just never apologizes for being who he is. So I love Pee-wee. I love that for it. Like I said, I didn't like this movie very much at 16, but I really enjoyed it this time. And then of course, tequila, because I'm a big fan of tequila drinks. So there you go. Those are the lessons from a non-Pee-wee enthusiast 30 years ago.
And I think that's very timely because Monica has told us that she had no idea that Pee-wee Herman, Pee-wee's Big Adventure was a Tim Burton movie, and that she's always been annoyed by his voice. And honestly, there's so much good stuff in the movie that if you're annoyed by his voice, you don't even really notice it after a while because there's so much other stuff that's going on. So, Monica, I would absolutely encourage you to watch that with your son tonight because I think, one of the joys that I got was being able to share this movie with my stepdaughter, Sarah. And, my husband and I were showing it to her. I don't know. She was probably in her late teens when we showed it to her, and she loved it. And, it's being able to share that with her, this weird little film was really fun. And so it's nice because now that's part of her, her repertoire of films as well. And so just real quick, this is for those of you that don't know who Phil Hartman is. Phil Hartman and Jan Hooks were regulars on Saturday Night Live in the late 80s, mid to late 80s, and both just absolute comic geniuses. And what a subtle and funny and just these, just top-notch comedic performers, and both gone well before their time as far as I'm concerned. Just awesome, and you are missed. And both of them, I would say, were inspirations in terms of forming my own comic brain. They were both a big part of that for sure.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
It was nice to see, Jan Hooks, before she passed, was on 30 Rock as mom. And she just slayed that. Like, it's funny, you look at her and you think, I mean, even she was on a couple of seasons of Designing Women. A lot of her characters that I think people remember her as are this sort of Southern, person. But if you watch Saturday Night Live, like she had a wide range of characters that she played. And, I'm hoping that she will be remembered for that as well.
One of my favorite Jan Hooks bits is one of the commercials where it's a perfume commercial for like Obsession, where she's an obsessive compulsive, and it's done up like those really terrible Calvin Klein commercials from the mid to late 80s, and so it's all black and white, and it is so funny. Little club soda will get that out, liar, And again, Phil Hartman narrates that, so he's the one that's narrating the commercial, and she's the obsessive in it. I'm like, I just think that commercial is so funny. But lessons that I learned from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, they are deep and meaningful. I don't know how many times I've seen this movie. We're deep into the double digits, possibly triple digits here. That this is what I know. Even loners and rebels need friends. There is no basement in the Alamo. These are the things that I've learned. Corn has thousands and thousands of uses. It's super easy to know if you're in Texas. Yes. The stars at night are big and bright.
Okay, put Dottie on the phone.
Magic shops are creepy all of the time, 100% of the time. Much of what I have, and I did not realize this, I don't know when I finally figured out that if you look at my house, I have no sense of style whatsoever. But what sense of style I do have, I got from PeeWee Herman. And it's because when I was 15 years old watching that movie, and I saw that opening scene where you see Pee-wee's house, and all I could think of was that I want all of that. And so slowly but surely I've collected pieces of that house. Like, for instance, this is what my sister just sent me. It's a dinosaur that's got a flamingo pool floaty on. So, and the dinosaur's name is Simone, and the flamingo's name is Andy. Simone and Andy.
Andy.
Oh, see, Tina knows where we are. A little flexibility to get that out. Liar. All right. Cable knit sweaters are very complicated. That is something else that I know. And I use that particular, at one point, they're at the meeting and he's talking about how complicated this is. And, and then finally he's like unraveling this mystery is like trying to unravel a big cable knit sweater that somebody keeps on knitting and knitting and knitting. So I use that all the time to describe public education and things that I'm doing. And Chip, honest to God, that's when I knew I really liked you, because the first time as I was getting to know you, you quoted that. And I was like, oh, he's one of my people.
Right on.
And that's always something I'm going to associate with you, because you were so good at that. And I was just like, oh, I love him. I love him so much. So
I'm so glad. None of this has been in vain.
None of it has. No. Other lessons I've learned from Pee-wee's Adventure, you got to go the distance to get what you want. And he does that in this movie. Never give up. Don't mess with bikers when you're in their bar. Don't shush bikers. That's a bad idea. Never underestimate the power of a cute little outfit, because that cute little outfit got him out of a jam.
Yes.
So. You should tell them that Large Marge sent you, even if she didn't, because only a certain segment of people in the universe will know what that means. Chip knows because he's wearing the T-shirt. And it occurred to me the other day, maybe a day or two ago, that I need a Large Marge T-shirt in some way, shape, or form, because
totally. Totes.
It's like I don't have that. I'm like, that's wrong. You should eat Mr. T cereal, because you don't want to pity the fool. I pity the fool that don't eat my cereal. And yes, Mr. T cereal was a thing in 1985. So, and there was little T's. There's value at being young at heart. And finally, taking a picture of it makes it last longer. There you go. Monica doesn't feel she could take the time to sit in an anthropomorphic chair. Too creepy. I don't think I would mind that, Monica. Honestly,
cute.
Yeah, I'm gonna make Chip yeah.
Hi, Monica. I'm Terry. Nice to meet you.
I'm Terry.
And I'm Terry. I want to be the baby. He always wants to be the baby. I want to be the baby.
As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we are dealing. Chip is a Pee-wee expert. So Ann and I, we're probably bachelor's level. Chip is PhD level. PhD level. Monica's reaction to that. There we go.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. He doesn't bite.
And there's her next reaction. Ooh, that's fantastic.
Mhm.
All right. So anyway, that's everything that we know and love about Pee-wee's Big Adventure. If you've never watched this movie, give it a watch. And this is not an Academy Award winning film by any stretch of the imagination. What it is, though, is memorable and unique and funny and weird. And it's all the things that I think, and I think, Anne, you mentioned this in one of the things that you talk about. Hang on, I'm gonna go back to what you said earlier. Be who you want, be who and what you are for yourself. And that's one of the things I love about this movie is that Pee-wee Herman is unapologetically Pee-wee Herman.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the things I most liked about it is that he has created this little world for himself where this is he and Phil Hartman, and I can't think of the other guy that wrote this, Nick whatever, or Andy whatever. Sorry. Michael, thank you. That they've created this world where there's very little judgment on who he is as a person,
Yes.
And that he manages to find a way to fit in no matter who he's with, whether it's with Terry, the criminal, or with a group of bikers, or with the execs at the end of the movie when they're telling him that they want to make his movie into a story. That at no point do you feel he's ever being judged. The only time you feel like he's being judged is when he declares he wants to know where the basement of the Alamo is. And James Brolin looks a little judgy at him when he's in the scene with him, because that is one of my favorite scenes is when at the end when they've made the movie and we're watching the Pee-wee's Big Adventure movie within a movie.
Yes.
And James Brolin plays PW and Morgan Fairchild plays Dottie. That scene in the hotel where Pee-wee Herman is in the background as the concierge, and it's just a scream because they dub his voice in. Awesome.
Yeah. Mr. Herman, paging Mr. Herman. You have a telegram at the front desk.
Yeah, I literally watch that scene again and again because he does such a great job of being a bad actor in that. And I'm like, I love it so much.
He adjusts himself in the frame, like so that he gets on, like somebody's actually.
It's funny. He looks right at the camera and then he kind of looks away.
He's looking away.
So,
yeah.
Sunrise make my face hot.
I love the joy of this film. Like it is just pure joy. It's childlike, and yet there's some adult stuff that it's kind of like watching a Bugs Bunny cartoon. Like
it is.
You got those little things planted in there, and I think too. I think kind of what you said, Jenny, was that he is carried throughout this whole film. Mm-hmm. Something carries him through this whole film. Whether it's his friends or an ex-convict who's escaping prison. Or there's always again to Bugs Bunny. Yep. It's kind of like when Bugs Bunny's walking across the girders, and just as he reaches the end, another girder comes.
Yep.
Like kind of that same thing. Like as you think he's going to fall off the cliff, somebody's there to take him onto the next thing.
Yeah, and that's those amazing relationships he develops throughout the movie.
Yeah, and I think in this day and age, it's so nice to see people helping people. And helping kind of a strange little oddball.
Yes.
With his dream of finding his bike.
I know.
But yeah, I just love the silliness of it. I think that always appeals to me. The fact that he puts tape on his face for no other reason in the morning than to put tape on his face.
See, I always interpreted amuse himself.
Yeah.
I always interpreted that he was shaving. That he's putting the tape on his face to get any of those last minute hairs, and that's his way of shaving. That's always how I've interpreted it. I don't know if that's the case or not, but I'm like, I think he's shaving.
Well, and I love too when he has the toothbrush and he's like brush, mad dog. Like he's having so much fun with himself in the morning. And why not? I mean, I'm not a big morning person, but why not? But yeah, just the whole thing. I mean, like you said, his design choices, the fact that he has a Rube Goldberg machine that makes him breakfast in the morning, that his front window is actually an aquarium with fish in it. I mean, it's just, that when he waters his lawn, it's those octopus tentacle things.
Yeah. And I was trying to think of the name. That sprinkler has a name.
It does.
I can't think of it. And it makes me nuts because it's one of those things I would love to have. And, it would never occur to me when I was a kid to have to ask my parents for that because it was expensive. But I can remember always in the back of my head, like, that's the sprinkler that I want someday.
Well, and I remember like a friend got that thing, but he was like, "Oh my God, that thing hurts because it whips around and it it basically splashes your legs." Because, it's
That's probably why they weren't around very long, because I'm sure they were like, like jarts. They were like murdering children.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, like Tina says, it's the whimsy. The whimsy.
It is.
Also, I think one thing I truly solidified for me in this movie was that clowns are terrifying.
So terrifying.
Clowns are terrifying. They will steal your bike. They will invade your dreams. They're terrifying.
That clown scene dream is really horrifying. And I thought Tim Burton does a really great job of capturing just the terror of clowns in that dream, and encompasses Pee-wee's anxiety about finding his bike all at the same time. Yeah, that dream is horrifying.
And it's funny to like see that movie and realize, oh, this was Tim Burton's first film, and there's certain bits and pieces of it where you're like, that's Tim Burton. That's Tim Burton. That's Tim Burton, because you see it then in almost all of his other movies. You're like, so you can see that impetus right there. I'm like, oh, see, so he always had that, it's there.
For a low budget picture that, that it incorporates animation, it incorporates stop action animation. It has a little bit of everything. And yet this movie probably cost $100 to make, but that he was able to use his creativity in such a way. But
and you really, to me, the film that most replicates things you see in Pee-wee's Big Adventure is Beetlejuice, for sure.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Everything always has that very jagged look to it. Everything's a little askew. The perspective's a little off. Everything's very chromatic. It's
Well said.
Like it's very, it's very like black and white and
you should talk about the screenplay.
Okay, and this is one of the things that I was doing some reading. Yes, you guys, I prepare for these broadcasts. Anyway, but I was reading about the screenplay. So the writers of the screenplay, and I'm going to go back to their names here because I don't want to slaughter them. Paul Rubens, Phil Hartman, Michael Varhol, they had never written a screenplay before. They didn't know how to do it. So they literally bought a book on how to write a screenplay. And this screenplay now, you guys, is actually used as a model screenplay in screenplay writing classes because they literally nailed how to write a screenplay. The movie is 90 minutes. The screenplay is 90 pages. The first 30 minutes of the movie literally is the first 30 pages of the screenplay. It's considered a model screenplay, and it's because they literally just found the book and followed what the book told them to do, which I think is really awesome. I mean, it's such a unique little piece, is that the screenplay for this movie is what screenwriters are using to learn how to write screenplays. I'm fascinated by that. So,
well, I love it that they're like, hey, I didn't know what to do. Oh, maybe we should read a book, because that's like the first thing I know. I don't know how to do this. I better get the book,
Yeah. I know.
I'm like,
it's
hey,
the equivalent
read a book.
of having Googled it. Like they
right.
This is back in the day. This is they're writing the screenplay in the early '80s. There was no Google. There's no YouTube.
Google, there's no YouTube.
There are books. Yeah, back in the day, we didn't have no Google. We had books.
We had books. We read them endlessly, and we liked it.
We loved it. Oh boy!
So I thought that was I was like, yeah, buy the book.
And I love too. I did a little research as well. Just the fact that he created this character with the Groundling Theater back in the 70s, and that I think a variation of Pee-wee appeared in one of the Cheech and Chong films.
No kidding.
And that he and Phil Hartman then wrote the Pee-wee Herman show, which was a stage show that was much similar to the Playhouse, and it was done in Los Angeles, and HBO filmed it and aired it, and and then I knew Pee-wee because he would be on David Letterman. And I had no idea who he was. My roommate really enjoyed him, and he'd be like, Pee-wee's on tonight. I was like, fine, okay, whatever, And then you'd see this weird little dude come on and talk like a child, but with a little bit of an adult innuendo. And I was like, who is this dude? I love him. And then suddenly there was the movie. It was like, awesome. Let's go for this ride. Here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah, and if you can, get the DVD and listen to the commentary, because Paul Rubens does the commentary. And it's fun to just hear what he has to say. I bought it maybe, excuse me, I bought it probably somewhere in the late 90s and was watching it with a friend. And we watched the whole movie and enjoyed it, and then immediately put it back on and listened to the whole DVD extra track. And it's, you know, it's fun to hear the little bits and pieces.
I'll bet.
Yeah. But also, I want to say from my own LA experience, I lived near the park where they did the opening scene with the bike, where he has Grace, which also is the same park where John Cusack held up the boombox and Say Anything.
Nice.
And I didn't know that until a long time after living there. I kept thinking, you know, oh, it's such a cute park. And then a friend of mine said, by the way, this is where they filmed the Pee-wee thing. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. The other thing is the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs are off the side of the freeway when you're driving from LA to Palm Springs.
I've always wondered where those were.
And
We should go to there.
I went to Palm Springs with a friend. We were driving by, and of course, they aren't painted like that. Almost every time you go by, they have a different paint job. But the time we drove by, they were all just sort of a dull drab green, I think, because the sun had bleached them. But almost every time I've gone on that drive, I've had to stop and take pictures, because why not? You know, I mean,
definitely.
the only thing I've ever done is gone inside of them. Like, I know that you can't literally go up inside the head, but one of them has like a gift shop in its belly.
That's cool.
It's
And
my
they
vacation home.
I wish I could remember. The dinosaurs actually have names. They've been named. Yeah, you can Google it and find out their cute little names. But the other thing was, when we first moved to LA, we went shopping at the shopping center called the 3rd Street Promenade, which is 3rd Street, but they've closed off the street. So there's restaurants and shops, and it's very downtowny, and you know, and it's outdoor, and it was just so fun. And then years later, I'm watching the DVD with the commentary, and he's like, by the way, the scene where the bike got stolen, that was all filmed on the 3rd Street Promenade. And I was like,
Oh my gosh.
See, that's what we should do, is we should come up with a map. Like, if you're going to go a Pee-wee's Big Adventure American tour.
yeah, totally.
I think that's a great idea.
And it's, you know, like I said, I think, oh, now I'm sorry, I'm choking a little from the bow tie's too tight. Sorry. I tied the bow tie too tight.
It can happen.
Look, now I look like a baby.
You're like baby Sippy. Baby Chippy.
Is he a boy? Is he a girl? We don't care anymore.
Who cares? He's so cute.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that was fun for me as a Pee-wee fan, to be like recognizing, like, that's a Pee-wee thing. That's a Pee-wee thing. That's a Pee-wee thing. Like, and then telling people and having them go, okay.
I love it.
But I look forward to. I have a 13, almost 14-year-old nephew who I'm looking forward to sharing this movie with. I don't know if that will be he and I watching it, or if him watching it with his family. I don't even know if he'll be interested. I think he might find it kind of strange, but I think secretly he'll really enjoy it.
He'll like it.
I was going to say, you know, he might not appreciate it now, but maybe he'll come back to it someday and appreciate it.
Yes. Yes.
As you did, Ann Brothers.
As I did.
Yeah. Well, I can't, you know, it's funny. It is the difference of, you know, you guys saw it at a much younger age.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think and that never occurred to me. Like, you know, it's one of those things when you're younger where you think everything starts at the age that you are, you know.
Right. No,
and
that's
so
true.
It didn't even occur to me that like, younger people might have seen this film at the same time that I saw it and had an entirely different take. So I don't know. I'm just glad it exists. It makes me happy. I put it on from time to time. Sometimes I'll watch it from beginning to end. Sometimes I just watch certain scenes. Sometimes I watch just till I laugh my ass off, you know, and it's always there, and it's a classic, and it should be shared for years and years and years. I often wish that it was somehow attached to like a holiday or something, you know, so that like like, TBS would run it every Thanksgiving or something like that,
Right.
But I do love the fact that he was touring the country with it for its 35th anniversary. I had tickets to see it in Detroit. And then afterwards, he was going to answer questions. And of course, COVID.
That was the COVID nightmare. Yes, that's when the COVID nightmare began. Yes.
But I did meet him once when in LA they do these things where they celebrate TV shows and films, and they bring the whole cast together. And if it's a TV show, they'll show you an episode or two, and then they bring out the cast and they ask questions. And they did a tribute to Pee-wee's Playhouse, and I was like, I'm there, and just had the best time. And it was just fun to watch him. And then afterwards, I stood in line and got his autograph. But he was so enamored of the kids. Like with the adults, he was kind of like, yeah, here you go. But when a kid came up, oh, hi, and he would talk to them and get down on their level, and it was adorable.
I would like to see Pee-wee's Big Adventure get the Rocky Horror Picture Show treatment, where you go at night, you get to act things out, you get to interact with it. That would be fun. You dress up. Wear that cute little outfit.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, I got to find me that fuzzy sweater.
That cute little outfit.
Who would crochet that for me?
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
So you could literally have a field day with that.
I have to ask you guys, were you legitimately like the jump scare of Large Marge? And when they pulled her from the twisted rack, this is what she looked like. Like literally that made me jump like I was in a horror film. Like did it have that effect on you guys?
You know what? When I first saw the movie, the little guy I was babysitting, Adam, kept warning me. He's like, it's coming, and he's this little 3-year-old guy. He's like, it's gonna get so scary. It's gonna be so scary. And then so I was like, I knew something was coming, and then it happened. I was like, oh. It was so unexpected and funny that I don't think I was as scared as I was just totally amused by it. I'm like, that is out there.
When I saw it when I was a teenager, I just think I thought it was silly. And then when I saw it again last week, I thought, Tim Burton.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that popped into my head. I'm like, there's Tim Burton, So, I was just thought, like I said, I was very sophisticated at 16. So I just thought it was silly. But as an older woman now, I was like, oh my God, there's Tim. So, and that made me think of some of his other movies. So I guess I appreciated it a lot more. But it would be. It's complete. He doesn't do it any other place in the movie, and it's completely unexpected.
Yes.
And it's not half-assed. It is out there.
It is. It totally is. So, if you're not expecting it, and why would you? It would make you jump, definitely.
Yeah. I know I did.
Monica says if Die Hard can be a Christmas movie, you can attach Pee-wee to whatever the hell you want.
Right on.
Amen.
Amen to that. Amen. I almost feel like it should be a Halloween movie for some reason.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know. There's something about it.
Exclamation!
Halloween's such a fun
exclamation point.
Yeah, it's such a fun any age holiday that I feel like this movie fits in with it being a Halloween sort of movie. I don't know.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And you can dress up for it. Oh, marvelous.
Correct. So, yeah.
Well, when COVID's done, we should have a Pee-wee Halloween party.
Yeah.
I love that.
So
I'm flying for that because that's also my birthday weekend. So yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So we're gonna do that. So we're gonna have a Pee-wee Halloween party post COVID.
Yeah.
Totally. Hi, Duncan.
Hi, Duncan.
Hey,
well, you guys, I believe we're almost 50 minutes into this review. I think we have talked the hell out of this movie.
I think so too.
As we should.
Go see it. Rent it.
Rent it. I think it's on HBO Max. If you've got HBO Max, you can watch it. If not, it's like $3 on Amazon. And
it's worth it.
Find the DVD. I think the DVD is like $10 and you get the extra commentary.
Yeah, and it's worth it to have this in your Susie. I don't know, maybe Twisted Easter because the fair.
Oh.
Fucked up Easter. Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, the little Mayfair, the little
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a crazy, weird sort of yeah, I don't know. I like it, Susie. I like it.
We have time to consider it. That's the good news. We have time.
Yeah.
You could do both. You know, it could just be a bookend.
Exactly.
I
Easter
don't need
and
any
Halloween.
reason. I need no excuse whatsoever to watch this movie. So I'm like, as many times as we can watch it for every holiday, I'm fine. 4th of July, Labor Day, whatever.
Whatever.
When in
Flag
doubt,
Day, great.
when in doubt, Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Totally. Yes, there are many bright, and that's one of the other things. Visually, this movie's super fun because there's tons of bright colors in it. It's a bright movie. Like I said, this movie makes you unsad. There you go.
Mhm. There you go.
Yes,
Right on.
not a doubt.
So, what do you think, you guys? Should we wrap it up?
I think so.
Okay. We will be back Sunday. We will be talking about August, you guys, is a great month if you want to look at meteor showers. There are 3 awesome meteor showers this month. So on Sunday, we're going to talk about the 3 upcoming meteor showers. One that happens next week, one the week after that, one the last week of August. So you can bust out your binoculars, go to someplace dark, and look at one of 3 meteor showers or all 3, depending on what you feel like doing. So yeah.
Cool.
It is
Excellent.
cool. Yes. I would like to thank Chip Moehle, entertainment expert, and honestly, PhD of PeeWee Herman. I'm going to say right there, PhD of PeeWee Herman. So I want to learn from you, Chip. Teach me. So thanks again, and welcome back. I know you were on vacation this week, so welcome back. Well done. Lessons from PeeWee Herman. Thanks, you guys. We will see you Sunday. I don't even know what time. I don't know what we're going to be brunching. All I know is we're talking meteors. Meteors. Okay, good.
Ooh.
Okay.
Meteor.
Meteors. So, all right, guys, have a great day. Bar Thursday, Tequila Sunrise, done. Becky, that was for you. Okay.
Done.
Done. It's time for the second one. Uh-oh. Somebody go sleep good night.
And 4.
Monica, you're welcome. All right.
Yeah. Our pleasure.
Thank you.
We would laugh anyway. So there you go.
Right on. All right. Have a great day, you guys. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.